All right, so you have your file, as you can see here, this cool action figure, and it's way too big. It won't print. You need to be able to move it, to scale it, and to rotate it. And that's what this tutorial covers, as well as how to generate support and what that entails. So the first thing we're going to do is the move tool. You can enter numbers in here yourself, but the better way to do it is probably just drag it around with the right click. I should say before moving on, if you right click on the model and drag around, you'll rotate the view. If you hold shift while doing that, you'll pan, which can be useful. So you might want to play around with this first just to view it. So if you want to move it around, I think I just said right click, but it's actually a left click on it, and then that will drag it. So you're going to drag your model over, but it's still way too big. So we're going to scale it down. There's a few ways to scale. One is just once you click scale over in the left side, if you just drag, and you can kind of go back and forth and scale it to what looks right. That's like a free form scaling. But if you want to actually control the maximum dimension, you can look at the X, Y, and the Z dimensions here, and they'll tell you like the furthest in each direction that your model goes. And let's say for a given project, or just for the size, you want to max it out at 50. You can actually type 50 in there and hit enter, and it will automatically rescale the other two dimensions so that you're still proportionate. Again, that's right there. And you could do this to any one of them. I just picked Y. You can also do it by percentage. It still will work. All right. So once you have it onto the build plate in Cura, let's move it up a little bit and then rescale it. Once you have that there, it'll do what's called slicing. Slicing is when the Cura the software will convert from an STL file into the G code, which is the instructions that it sends to the 3D printer. You can see right there, it will tell you how long your print will take, 24 minutes. That's not bad, but you'll see there's certain ways we can reduce that. The other thing we might want to do, given on our model, is to rotate it. So remember, it was 24 minutes before. Let's see what happens when we rotate it just about 90 degrees upright. You can actually type that in, 90. So you might think that it makes sense to print it like this, because due to standing up. But as you'll see, the print time went way up. It went up like a third. And if for a bigger file, it could go up more. The reason is that 3D printers are pretty slow with tall objects. So you want to try to get your model as flat and low to the plate as possible. So we're going to kind of go the other direction. And you can see I'm just dragging around that red circle. You could rotate it in any of those three directions. And you might even play with, like we got 24 minutes, maybe we could shave a minute if we rotate it in a single direction. It depends kind of on the model. Like it might be even better to go upside down. And you can see we just shaved 2 minutes. Let's see what that does. And it will reslice. All right, so maybe 22 minutes is about as low as we can get it. And we're almost ready to print. The thing we have to worry about, though, is that if this prints right now, there's a bunch of overhang. Overhang is when you have a piece up here and nothing below it all the way down to the build plate. So that overhang, it won't print well, it won't print at all if you don't have support material underneath. So we're gonna pretty much always have support on our designs if we have overhangs. There's some qualification to that, but as a rule, if you have an overhang, you want support. And to see how that looks, we can go to the layer view in the top. And we'll see that it'll use this support material underneath our model to kind of build up until we get there. And it does add quite a bit of time to to the overall print. But it needs to do that to print. 40 minutes is a pretty long runtime, but if I wanted to print it as normal, I would click Start Print here, and that's it. So what we've seen is how to move these objects around, the Move tool, how to scale them, and then also how to rotate them, and then lastly, how to generate support for materials, which is just checking this box here.